Hello, class, and welcome to Lesson 8.9, the cosine law. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take a moment and reflect on the entire semester because this is the last new lesson I am going to teach you. The rest is going to be review and consolidation and getting ready for your exam. So we have hit a pretty important point here, guys. Thanks for sticking it with me through all these videos and sticking through it with me. And I know that I probably use Hey class or Hey guys a lot of time in my videos. And if you have any other ways of saying hello and goodbye, like namaste or hola, I would be great to have them for my future videos. I'd love to learn different languages. So please pass that on to me. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Last new lesson. All right, warm-ups. Solve triangle BCD. Solve means to find all missing sides and missing angles. Okay, if angle B is 62, angle C is 54, and side D is 14 centimeters. Do we have any 90-degree triangle in there? No 90 degrees, so we're going to draw an oblique triangle. Okay, and it doesn't really matter how you set it up. I just usually go B, C, D. I usually go first one on top, that in the order given. All right, let's fill in the information. B is 62 degrees. Got that put in there. C is 54 degrees. And side D is 14 degrees. Now we know, since there's no 90-degree triangle, guys, that we can't use Pythagorean theorem or SOHCAHTOA, so we now have to look for a match. Do we have a match as given? No, but we have a side length D. Can we find angle D? Yes, we can. So angle D equals 180 degrees. Subtract 54 degrees, subtract 62 degrees equals, plug in your calculator, folks, 64 degrees. And again, you can write that all out, or you can just write that with 64 degrees and write a short form, ASTT. You don't have to show all that work. Okay, so I'm going to put that in my diagram. 64 degrees. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a match. So there's my match. And I can use that to find the other side lengths. So what do you want to find first, B or D? Well, let's find B, go alphabetical order. Okay, so B over the sine of angle B, which is 62 degrees, equals our match, so the side length of the match given, which is 14, divided by sine of 64 degrees. Okay, cross multiply, so we're going to do the short form. So B equals 14 sine 62 divided by sine 64. Please be careful here because 62 and 64 are so close together. I've seen people get those mixed up. Okay, then plug it in your calculator, ladies and gentlemen, and you get B equals 13.8 centimeters. Last angle we need to find is last side we have to find is side C. Okay, so C over the sine of C, which is 54 degrees, equals the match, which is 14 over, and I just look right here, guys, because you already have the match. You don't even have to go back to your diagram because it's already written here. Sine of 64 degrees. Let me erase that. I don't know why I was going 641. All right, let's get C by itself. So C equals 14 sine 54 degrees divided by sine of 64 degrees. Plug it in your calculator, and C equals 12.6 centimeters. Okay, while we get going on to our lesson, folks, please be aware of the upcoming unit test, and you should probably know by now when your exam is. So please make sure that you are preparing for your exam and for this unit test. All right, cosine law. It can only be used when you have an oblique triangle, which again is no 90 degrees for an angle. Okay. And you're given two situations, okay? You're given two sides and a contained angle. So what's that short form? Side, angle, side, okay? So if that's an example that's given, let me just give one. So say we got 2 feet here. Say we're given this angle of 28 degrees, and say they say this is 12 feet. Notice, folks, that you've got what's called a contained angle. So this angle is contained because this side measurement is given and that side measurement is given. Notice the other two angles aren't contained because you don't know that other side. Okay, so side, angle, side. And when you use this, folks, you're going to be asked to find the opposite side. So you're going to find a third side or other side. Okay, which is opposite the angle. Okay, that's one case when you're going to use it. Notice in this, folks, if you try to find a match, we don't have it and we can't find a match because only one angle is given. So you can't use ASTT and you won't be able to find the third side because you can't use Pythagorean theorem because it's not 90 degrees. Remember that, okay? Okay, I have a lot of people try to find that third side by using Pythagorean theorem, but remember, by definition, you have to have a right triangle, and this is not given as a right triangle. Okay, that's case one. Case two is if all three sides are given, and if all three sides are given, that's a short form side, 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 that means you're going to find any angle. Okay, so here's my example. If this was 2 feet, and this is 12 feet, and maybe I gave you this is 3 feet. Doesn't matter. Remember, our diagrams aren't drawn to scale. Okay? So side, 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 and it says here, if you have an oblique triangle, you can't find a match, then you're going to try cosine law. Cosine law is your last resort. It's your last strategy. Okay? Easiest is Pythagorean theorem. Then SOHCAHTOA. That has to occur in a 90-degree triangle. If you don't have that in your oblique triangle, look for a match. If you don't have a match, then guess what? You're stuck with using cosine law. And the reason why you're stuck with using cosine law is because these are big formulas. Now, don't get scared. I will provide the formula for you on your test. You just have to know to plug it in and use it. Okay? So don't get scared because I'm going to flip it over and it's a big formula. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you will notice that, again, there are 3 formulas because there are 3 different side lengths. Okay? So that's finding side A, this is finding side B, and this is finding side C. Okay. However, I will just give you one in the formula. Usually I give you either the A side or the C side. It's all based on a pattern. Okay. They all are connected by pattern. So write this down, but realize that you're only going to be using one of them. Okay. You're only going to be finding one side length. Okay. So this is case 1 where it's side, angle, side. So if you want to put that in, that's going to be good. Okay. So I'll do an example here. I'll show you how to set it up. And when you do 2 questions in homework, I guarantee you'll find the pattern and it'll be easy from there on in. But it does take some practice, guys, okay? So example 1 says solve for B. So we need to find this side B, okay? Look at our triangle. Do we have a 90 degree? No, we can't use Pythagorean theorem. We can't use SOHCAHTOA, okay? Do we have a match? No. Can we get a match? Absolutely not. So we have to use the cosine law. So I'm just going to write it out first, and then we'll substitute in the information. And I'll show you the patterning. So it's the third side equals the sum of the other 2 sides squared. That looks like Pythagorean theorem, and Pythagorean theorem is tied into trigonometry. So Pythagorean theorem is tied into this, okay? Minus 2 times the other 2 sides times the cos of the other angle, or sorry, the given angle, my fault. Okay, make sure you have that in brackets. Okay, so let's sub in what we know. B squared is what we're going to find. So A, folks, remember A is down here. Okay, so A is 18 squared plus C, which is 15 squared. Subtract 2 times A, which is 18, times 15, times the cos of the given angle, which is 80 degrees. So when you use cosine law, it's going to be the side you're finding with the addition of the other 2 sides squared. That's going to be a pattern even when we look at the other formula as well. Okay? So it's always comparing the side you're trying to find with the other 2 sides. Okay? And these other 2 sides will always meet the given angle. Okay? All right. Now, I would suggest when you're doing this in your calculator, folks, that you break it into 2 parts until you get the hang of this. So let's do the part in red first. So plug that in your calculator, ladies and gentlemen, and you should get 549. Okay. Then I'm going to write my subtract sign down, and then I'm going to do this entire bracket in my calculator. Okay, and I'm going to take it to 2 decimal places. Why? Because I'll tell you in a sec. I'm giving you a cliffhanger. Okay? Keep solving here. We go b squared equals 455.23. And now, don't forget, how do we get our final answer? You got to take the square root. So b equals the square root. This is why, folks, I took it to 2 decimal places. Because if you're going to take the square root and want to have 1 decimal place, you have 2 to start with. Okay? And final answer is going to be b equals 21.3 meters. Now, I would recommend you pause the video and make sure you plug these in and can get this answer. Okay? If you have a 2-screen display, ladies and gentlemen, you could plug them all in at once, get this solution, and then don't forget to take the square root. Okay? All right, so again, you take the side you're trying to find, it's squared, equals the sum of the other 2 squared sides, subtract 2 times the other 2 sides. This 2 times the other 2 sides you're going to see again, times cos of the given angle. All right, so that's finding a side length. And again, folks, when you do a couple examples in your homework, you'll be fine with this. All right, now we're going to find angles. Again, don't fret or frown, folks. There's three formulas here. I will usually give you one, which is usually the C formula I give. Okay, again, I have 3 formulas here because there are 3 sides or 3 angles to find. Okay, again, this is your side scenario where you have to give all 3 sides. Okay. Let's take a look at example 2 here, folks. So it says to solve for angle A. It has to tell you what angle to solve for. Okay? So taking a look, folks, we need to find cos A. So it's going to be cos of angle A equals, remember those other 2 sides we talked about? The sum of the other 2 sides. Now we're going to subtract the opposite side of the angle we're finding. That's important, guys, and I'll go over that again. Okay, divided by 2 times those other 2 sides. They like to hang around those other 2 sides. Okay, so the key in setting this up, folks, is you always subtract opposite side. So write that in, please, because that's where the error comes from if you're using cosine law. Okay, so always subtract the opposite side of the angle you're trying to find. Okay, let's plug in our information, folks. So cos of A equals b squared. So that's going to be 8 squared plus c squared, which is 10 squared. Subtract a squared, which is 7 squared. Okay, divided by 2 times 8 times 10. I would suggest here, folks, you do the numerator separately and then the denominator separately. Get a fraction. Okay, so plug the numerator in, or the top part, in your calculator, and you should get 115. Divided by, either you can do mental math or you can plug in your calculator for the denominator and get 160. Remember, folks, we're finding an angle, so angle C equals the cos inverse of this fraction. Plug her in, and you should get angle A equals approximately 44 degrees. Awesome. So again, folks, the strategy here is it's the sum of the adjacent sides, subtract the opposite side. Always remember to subtract the opposite side, divided by 2 times those adjacent sides. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this formula is just a rearrangement of the first formula. It's just easier for me to rearrange it for you as opposed to you trying to figure it out by yourself. All right, now, I said in all cases they should give you what angle to solve for. There is an exception. What if I say find the largest angle or find the smallest angle? And I'm going to give you a hint here. Maybe you know this based on proportionalities, but note here, ladies and gentlemen, that the largest angle is always opposite the largest side and the smallest angle is opposite the smallest side. So just be aware of that for your unit test. If I asked you to find the largest angle, you don't need to solve all 3. You can say, hey, where's my largest side? I'm going to find that angle. Okay? And you tell me it's opposite, you know, the largest angle is opposite the largest side. Okay? All right, folks, practice a couple of these and the big formulas won't seem overwhelming. You'll plug them in and you'll be fine. Okay? If not, please, for sure, come and see me. Homework here, folks, is page 455, numbers 1AC, 2AC, 4, 7, 9, and give 10 a try. It's a tricky one. Have a great day, guys. And this is the last new lesson, so enjoy. We probably have one review trig, and then we'll be reviewing for your exam. Adios, amigos.